Howdy, folks. I'm a musically inclined crustacean that follows and has to babysit a mermaid.
I'm Amber.
And here's some Reddit. Our first letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Making a Pregnancy Jar? And this one does involve infertility as a content warning. So, my husband and I have been married for 6 years and we still don't have any kids. We want them, but it's not happening. Friends and family are causing us constant stress about having a baby soon, and it's obviously something we can't control. We only wish that they would stop asking, but to no avail. So what I did was come up with an idea. It's stupid, I know, and that I carry around an empty jar and I call it my pregnancy jar. I carry it with me in my bag whenever I'm with friends and family, and every time someone asks about when my husband and I are gonna have a baby, I pull out my jar and I ask them to drop $1 in it for asking. They'd get a puzzled look, but then they would reach into their pockets, wallets, purses, and pull out $1 and stuff it into the jar. It actually worked, and most of them stopped asking me about after 4 months. I'm surprised it took 4 months. Last week, we had dinner at my parents' house. My brother came back from his business trip that lasted a month, and while we were eating, he asked me and my husband when we were going to have a kid. My husband paused. I got up from my chair and I made my way over to where my brother was sitting with my jar, and in my hand, I asked him to drop $1 in for the question that he asked. He stared at me and then laughed, and then nervously asked if I was being serious. Everyone was looking at us. He said no. He didn't have to pay me, but I told him that he didn't have to ask either, so here we are. I could tell that he felt embarrassed, and he immediately reached into his pocket, pulled out his wallet, and put $1 into my jar. I made my way back to my seat, and I sat down and I resumed eating like nothing happened. It got awkward afterwards. My mom pulled me into the kitchen later to tell me that I embarrassed my brother in front of his wife and family, and that I should quit acting childish by running around with a jar demanding that others put money into it. I told her that they should quit asking that. She went on about how they're just worried about us since we're in our mid-30s and we don't have much time left if we want to have a healthy baby. I got upset and she started arguing. My husband and I left and we haven't seen them in days, except I got a call from my sister basically siding with my mom and others saying that I'm being childish. So, am I the jerk for this? Edit Q&As. This has been going on for years, but the past year it has gotten worse. 2. I already told them about how I feel regarding this question. My husband doesn't care as much and says I should just let it go. 3. Yes, they pay every time because it's just $1. It won't make me any richer or them any poorer. 4. My husband and I spend the money on snacks and eat every night when watching TV or some toys for the dogs. One more thing, I realized this could actually be expanded to a wedding jar, a cake jar for weight loss, work jar, house jar, and so on, depending on the type of struggle, because these are the things that we struggle with and get frustrated with often, with the fact that people just keep asking, and then we might become millionaires one day. Also, someone suggested that I up the price of $5. It will most likely depend on the price of gas, so we'll see. Alright folks, what do you think, jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. And honestly, infertility is so common that we really as a society need to get away from that being a default question.
Yeah, it's so bizarre that the family is basically trying to pressure OP into having children when OP and her husband are literally trying to have children. It's like you can't get blood out of a stone here, right? And that's just what this boils down to. These people need to take a step back, and OP has tried everything, it sounds like, to stop people from asking these questions, but they refuse. They continue to invade in their personal lives, and they continue to ask these questions that are incredibly uncomfortable for OP. So I don't think OP's a jerk for demanding people pay them $1 whenever they ask this uncomfortable question and make them uncomfortable. Like, the point here is to make other people feel uncomfortable for doing something that's making you feel uncomfortable. That's the point. And it seems to be working because people are stopping asking. It's not like OP is, again, not trying to have kids. And even if they weren't trying to have kids, it's still none of their business whether or not they want to have kids. So that's my thoughts. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk. How creative. I don't have to pay you. Yeah, well, you didn't have to ask something that's none of your business, but here we are. I love it. It's a good response. It really is. Reciprocity is a beautiful thing, really. Not asking is free. I was a little scared when I saw the post title, but this is brilliant. Not the jerk. Furthermore, OP, I will be stealing this idea for both myself and anyone who advertise on the issue. It is brilliant. It is because it does exactly what happened. It brings the absurdity of the question, and by extension, the questioner, to an even more absurd place. You have figured out how to out crazy these people and ask without looking crazy yourself. Bravo, and I regret that I only have one upvote to give you. And OP says, "Oh, honey, go right ahead, steal away." But seriously, though, I was expecting people here, or at least one, to call me childish and to grow up. Glad that you guys disappointed me here. Haha. It's hard, the mental emotional toll of this subject that it's taken on me and my husband, and it's just incredible. People can be so sensitive regarding big sensitive topics like this, and unfortunately, even family who are supposed to be understanding make comments and ask uncomfortable questions all the time. Alright, our next letter is titled, "Am I the jerk for kicking my sister out of the house after she defended her stepson?" I saw a similar post a few hours ago and I wanted to ask. I'm a 22-year-old female and my sister is a 28-year-old female, and she married a man twice her age, 50-year-old male. She was the other woman for 2 years and got pregnant with my nephew, a 1-year-old male. His husband's ex-wife obviously kicked him out, and his oldest 20-year-old male son followed. I took them in 10 months ago after his wife won the house in the divorce. They asked to stay for 1 to 2 years until they're able to buy their own house. I said yes because honestly I didn't mind. I love my nephew with all my heart and my home, and the family home my dad left me is quite big. Things were okay. My sister's husband always paid rent. His son was actually helpful around the house. And as I said, I love my nephew. So I was happy to have him and my sister around. For some context, I am an adult worker and on OnlyFans in real life. My sister knows about it, never commented on it, but until recently, I didn't think her family did until this happened. Well, my stepsister's son, who we'll call Aaron, has always had a mess in his room, and it was okay, it's his space, but I didn't like it when I noticed he started to leave food and drinks around. I don't want rats or cockroaches in my house, so I asked him a bunch of times, gently, to please clean his room because it was unsanitary, and we live with a baby. He was always like, yeah, yeah. His dad and my sister asked him to until he and I, fought about it, and I said that if his room wasn't cleaned before Sunday, I was going to do it myself and throw everything away that I find on the floor. He didn't believe me, and neither did he clean. So I did. I hired someone and asked her to throw everything away, but to separate it into clothes bag and other food items. And when he came back, he saw his room. He got so angry. He said that I had no right and that those were his things that I threw away and like 60% of his clothes, blah, blah, blah. He then threatened to tell everyone that I was, quote, a inappropriate word, and I was taken aback and asked what he meant, and he said that he found out what I did and that he was going to get a video, don't know how, and send it to my family because I was a bee, and that's how you teach a bee how to behave. Classy. Classy. He said that his room was cleaner than me when it was all messed up and dirty. Needless to say, I kicked him out, and when my sister defended him and implied that I brought this on myself, I kicked them out too. They had to crash a few couches until her husband got an apartment, and she's claiming and telling everyone that I was a jerk. And to add, I'm not asking for legal advice or if I was legally in the wrong. Alright, folks, what do you think, jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
So this one's of course this one's a little bit messy in the respect that the guy was 20 years old and living in their house. I think the appropriate action would have just been to evict him. I think like kicking him out and being like, well, if you can't keep your room clean, then you're going to have to find a new place to live. So I can't blame OP at all for wanting their house clean and not wanting trash around. I don't know that necessarily it was the best course of action to hire a cleaner to do this, but he was also given a lot of forewarning. So I have a little bit of conflicted feelings on that very narrow aspect of this. But overall, I think that these people sound like charming, wonderful house guests, if you can hear the sarcasm in my voice. They, did not encourage their son to clean up after themselves. And why is it that this 20-year-old son, had to come and move in with OP's and his dad and whatnot? Like, there's something here that doesn't quite add up. Like, he's an adult. He could have found his own place to live. And OP was, taking them in. I mean, I know that the dad is paying rent, but I don't know. So this is, certainly there are aspects of this that are a little bit messy, but overall, I'm really kind of giving OP the benefit of the doubt, especially the way the son acted afterwards. Like, it's really hard. Like, you kick them out because of the things he said, and I don't think that you're wrong for kicking them out for the things that he said, for sure. So there are definitely areas that I think that could have been handled differently, but overall, I don't think that you're in the wrong for kicking them out, for sure. So yeah. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, the stepson sounds like a bad person in the making to me. Literally, my father is a bad person who does bad things to people. I've obviously cut ties with him and I'm okay now, but that's already done so much worse than the stuff that he said throughout that age. I'm genuinely worried about this kid becoming a adult offender. Oh my goodness, he'll quote, teach a bee how to behave. Good riddance to that garbage, not the jerk. Needed a third bag, I guess. That line makes me so angry. I would have kicked him out and changed the locks so fast. Then send everyone in my family my OnlyFans. He just mad that he can't afford her. that's that's a little awkward, to be quite honest.
Well, but I mean, how did he find out?
Yeah. Not the jerk. Not only was he a slob, but he was disrespectful. It doesn't matter what your employment is. You're providing a housing and he's a guest. I'd have him out too, and since she tried to blame you, she needs to go too. Good for you for standing up for yourself. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab your Cokes, grab your Golden Eagles, grab any and all the beverages, but let me warn you that if you have more than one beverage, you need to have a straw that you can simultaneously drink out of all of them.
No, not happening.
Because Amber has more than one drink.
I mean, actually, I got my water over there, my tea, and the rest of my protein drinks. So
If there were 10 cats in a boat and one jumped out, how many would be left? None. They were all copycats. What? That doesn't even make any sense. Where did we get the information that they were copycats from? Oh my goodness. What a ridiculous joke. Oh no. No. Oh, and I had Mega Mint tea. I'm totally not recording this hours later. Alright, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for My Hill to Die On? I have a dancing pole in my bedroom, and I like to pole dance for fun. I'm not very good at it, but I get better with practice. I also babysit my 4-year-old niece every other weekend, Friday through Sunday, because my bro and sister-in-law work. I love this arrangement. I get plenty of time with my little love. When she is there, I don't practice on it, but it's a pain in the butt to get down, so I just leave it. My niece asked me what it was for, so instead of lying to her, I told her that I use it for exercise. Well, when her mom was working out of home yesterday, she suggested that she go on the spinny pole that Auntie has in her room. My sister-in-law freaked out and told me that when her daughter is here, I am to take the pole and put it away, and this is not optional. I said no, obviously, because she's 4, and she doesn't know what a dancing pole is, and she doesn't know what an adult dancer does or is. She just knows that I exercise on it. My sister-in-law has a long history of being demanding when it comes to my niece, so now she's threatening to stop my time with her. I'm willing to make this my hill to die on because I keep her overnights for free. But now I leave my brother without childcare when they need it the most. I just want him and his wife to calm down. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
not the jerk.
Opie, what in the world is wrong with you? Talk about, looking a gift horse in the mouth, right? Like, you're taking care of their niece for free. They cannot get better service than that. Better cost than that. And now they want you to do this thing. I don't think you need to, OP. I think they'll realize pretty quickly that you are the one in the position of power here and that they do not have a leg to stand on or a pole to dance on. Your niece is too young to understand any of this, and it doesn't matter. Who cares? A lot of people use these poles just for dancing. as a form of entertainment and exercise. There's nothing wrong with having them. Just because they're utilized in certain uh, professions does not mean that they are inherently a bad or evil thing or will corrupt their poor little 4-year-old daughter, right? So it's pretty ridiculous that they're making these even making these kinds of suggestions. So I don't think that you're the jerk OP, and I don't think you need to take this down. That's my thoughts. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk. She's 4. Tell her it's a fireman pole. And OP says, never thought of this, lol. But OP just tell them, quote, I'm sorry, my exercise pole is so offensive to both, and I understand that leaving it up to you means that you no longer want me to watch X. I completely understand, and I'll be making plans on my weekends to go out from now on. I hope your next free sitter is better fit for you. Not the jerk, you aren't leaving your brother without childcare. Your sister-in-law is. She can fix her attitude or figure out childcare on her own. Don't bend to her BS. Yeah. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. And if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
I was like, what in the world, Brian?
Question.
No, I'm a musically, intellectually distinct crustacean that has to follow a mermaid around.
Isn't that still Sebastian?
No, I'm intellectually distinct. It's my name is Romeo, Rario the crustacean. I'm Rario the crustacean.
Is this something you're just making up now?
I make everything up.
Well, yeah, but the first one you described was definitely Little Mermaid.
Well, I've never heard of this.
Uh-huh.
Little Mermaid?
Ariel's one of your favorite Disney princesses. So
Ariel? I don't think that name does not ring a bell. Are you sure you don't mean like Ariana the mermaid?
Stop gaslighting me.
Because there's Ariana the mermaid with
That's not a thing. Stop. Don't help people of of YouTube.
See the nonsense poor Amber has to deal with.